Well, welcome to Al's Today. Today's mission is we got to build some horses. Not these kind of horses. We got to make some sawhorses for our Tennessee holiday home build. We're up here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and it is middle of February. And lucky us, we got no snow, and we're going to be in the 30s all week here. So not quite sure why we decided to go down to Tennessee when the weather up here in Green Bay is seems like it's been about the same type of weather we've had. But anyways, I gotta get the horses fed here, and once I get the horses fed, we're gonna go make a couple of sets of quick, inexpensive sawhorses for our holiday home build project. So we will see you in a little bit. The cat's found a warm place to sleep here in front of the heater. Still not warm enough for the cats to go outside and start roaming yet, but they're garage cats for now. They're my helpers. Well, the project begins. Like I said, we're making some horses. These are just going to be some quick, fast, not going to be an art project or any fine cabinetry, but start out by making parts. And the next step of the process is I got to make some gussets to go on here, and I got to get them routed up. And once they're routed up, I'll show you what I got going for a quick, fast little jig here. So. Routering, it's just taking and breaking the edge all the way around that piece of plywood to hopefully help with the slivers. So I'll get the rest of that stack routed up and we'll start making some horses. Well, let's start putting these together. And this information is for the people that actually want to build one of these, build some of these horses. I got one end frame put together already, and I'll show you what I got going here. So if you want to actually build it, magic numbers are from the long point, which is the long point of this piece of wood right here, to the short point of this piece of wood is 29.5 inches with a 20-degree saw cut. It's the only number you got to measure to make up your legs. Next magic number that you have to know is 24 inches on the bottom. Just a nice clean number, 24 inches across the top. So I made a quick jig here. I used the table to help me square this up. I simply just put a line. Half of the 24 is the 12. I just shot a line right up the middle. And when I put these together, I just got to line my peaks up here. Everything is just eyeballed at that point there. And you got somewhat of a jig. Anytime you got the chance, make a jig. So that's the first step, is get your legs in there. Next step is, since I very rarely build anything without using metal, I got some pieces real light, I think it's 22 gauge aluminum. And what that's going to do is that is going to hold my top together, so when I put the screws in for the top, we're not just relying on wiggly screws. So I just simply set that piece of aluminum in there, and I will line that up. And then also what that little piece of aluminum does, it helps me square these legs up to make sure that they are the same, they're square off the table. So I drop my aluminum in, I just put that there. I make sure that this edge, I got the same gap right here, so that way I know it's square. And then, let me move you guys out of the way here for a little bit. Get you on the other side here. Then, take my roofing nails and I shoot a nail in there. So, I didn't have enough pressure on there, so I triple tapped that with the nailer. So, anyways, it's still going to work. Line this back up, lock that in here, line up my gap, and so there's what I got. I got that piece of aluminum plate in there. So now whatever happens in life, that horse is not going to split apart or start wiggling on the top. Just a little extra something on there. So I got that. I got a little spreader jig on the bottom here. A couple little clamps on the side. Next step. One of the cross pieces. Another magic number for you is 11.5 inches, and this time it is long point to long point, and it's a 20 degree, that same 20 degree saw cut. And I put a mark down on the table here where I can just sort of push that up and eyeball it on there. But before I put that on there, I am going to put some some DAP, cheap clear latex caulking on there. It does have some adhesion properties, and it's cheap. It's a couple bucks a tube. I use this stuff on everything. My go-to would be some PL Premium on here in the big gun, but I don't have any here. So let me just put a bead of that on each side here. And good thing about this is it's easy to clean up. It wipes off, and it's going to take the wiggles out of it. And it says it's good for 40 years. So put a little bead on each side here, and I got my mark on the table here, so I know where to put it. And I just line that up. My top is still lined up, and to help hold this in place, what I do is a lot of times I take my Milwaukee, and these are just finish nails in here, and what this will do, it'll allow me to put this, nail this together. Structurally, they're not doing anything. They just help hold this together until I get some screws in there. So I just put a couple of still at my mark here. Put that there. There, I got that in there, and it's like I said, those aren't holding anything, but it's going to hold it in place while I put the screws in there. And I got some 3.5 inch screws that I'm going to run in from the sides here. And that is what's going to hold this thing together, is these 3.5 inch screws here. There, without those finishing nails in there, typically that thing's flopping all around while you're putting the screws to her. So just check her one last time. Make sure that that is square. Oop. There we go, we're square. We're still on our marks on the top. Bottom is still good. Our jig is sitting here. A couple more screws, and we're going to have this in here. There we go. That phase is done. And goes together pretty quick. Next step is, like I've got on here, got a little gusset piece on there to take some of the sway out of there. And this is just some bunch of old scrap drop pieces of wood that I had floating around, so good opportunity to burn them up. And there again, I'll use some of this DAP latex on there, and I'll be good for 40 years, right? So just line that up, and another magic number on here. This is 6 inches wide, long point is 18 inches, and 20-degree saw cut again, and the short point on there is about 13.5 inches. So now you got the numbers it takes to build up your frames here. Line this up on top here, and take my pinner and shoot that in place here, just to hold it. And the good thing with the pinner is you can still move this around if you need to adjust it. You just hammer on it and they're going to move out of the way for you. Now that I got this locked in, switch over. So these were just little 1-inch roofing nails. Now I've got about 1.5 inch galvanized ring shank nail in the air nailer here. So yeah, in a perfect world, screws would probably be better on here, but like I said, this is just some down and dirty horses here. And with that adhesive in there, these are pretty much way overbuilt anyways for what we're doing. I did look at some of the horses, looking on Amazon and stuff like that. They seem pretty chintzy, and a lot of those were well over 120 bucks. So I said, for a set. So I said, well, I can do better than that. So let me knock out 6 more of these, and I'll show you how I put the tops and the sides on there. So we're making progress. We got one horse done. Let me show you how I set these things up. Yeah, it took me about 5 minutes a frame to make these up once I got the jig set up. So go ahead, drop it on the table. There again, use the table as your jig to help you square these up. Set there. Drop another one here. I put some marks on the table, and I've got it set up right here. I put a couple of marks on the table. Line it up there. And for the people that are going to build one, the magic number for setting these up is 45 inches. And I'm going to use a 48-inch top piece that'll leave me 1.5 inches off each side. That way I can lift up and grab that horse on there. So there again, use my DAP on the top. That'll take up any uneven surfaces, those nail heads. There again, don't be bashful. Stuff is cheap. Get that set up. There we go. Got that. Grab a top. And these are, everything we did is, this is 2x6s here, which is actually 2x5.5. This is treated lumber, green treated lumber, and I think this stuff's been stained. This is signboard MDO, 3/4 inch. It's water resistant material. So these things could actually sit outside and take a little rain for a while, but I'd leave them inside. And the top, I used this is number 1 pine, and this is a 2x6, and this is cedar tone brand, not the color. So this is a real good piece of wood. It's as straight as what I can find, and this is cut 48 inches long, the same width as a piece of plywood. So drop this on top of our goo here, and let that ooze in there. Center that up. Put your tape measure on there and set that at 1.5 inches. Oh, a little more. 1.5 inches. I'll come back and adjust this side here a little bit. So I got one side pretty much set. There again, it's nothing critical. Just split the difference on here as far as your distance on the sides here. Come around, do the same thing on this side. There we go. And sort of see which is the high side, if there is one on here. And I got a 3.5 inch nail in here, and I'm just going to put one nail in here to hold it until I level this thing up. Oh, that didn't work. I must have hit another nail in there. Let's try it again. There we go. It didn't set in there all the way, but I just need something to hold it while I get everything lined up. And let me set this side at 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches. And get a nail in there. It works better when I use 2 hands on the nailer, that way it holds down. So, I got that set. Got my 1.5 inches. Now, the critical part. You gotta make sure that these tops are flat on here. So I put a straight edge across this side here. And I measure down to the bench here. 29 and 5/16. $29 and about 1/4. So it's pretty damn close. Next step. I got to put a brace across there. So, magic numbers, 44 inches by 6 inches wide. This is also that 3/4 MDO. And I did router this on the top side here. and on the bottom side so that when you lift this thing up, you got it nice and soft here. But before I put that on there, let me put some, get some caulk put on there. There we go. Goes there. Make sure you got the routed side down on the bottom here. And since I already leveled the top up, this will just go in here. And you will just put the same gap on this side as you do on this side here. And get ready to nail that in there. And get set in there. And I got one nail on each side. I know I got the top level. And now just to double check, I did switch over when I to the shorter nails. Took the 3.5 inch out, put the shorter nails in here. Just double check it with a square on there. And there again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just set the square up, eyeball it up and down, and make sure that this is square here. And I got to move this one around a little bit. And we got it sitting a little square. I'll finish putting the nails in and then I'll get you to the next step. Nails are in this side. Let me flip this around and get the other side and I'll take you to the next level. The last piece to the project as far as gets put on here. This piece goes right up in the center here. I put a mark at the center, shoot my nails in there. Magic number on here is, and this is a 2x6, it's about 7¼ inches. You can just play with that to make sure that fits up in there. So I will take and put some gap on there. Put a good bead of that on. Center boards are all nailed in there. You can see up in there. Next step and last step, and we're going to have ourselves a horse here, is put some screws in there. We've got some 3.5 inch Torx bit screws here. And I will put one right in the center. And sink them down a little bit on there. Hopefully you shouldn't be, even though they're sawhorses, you shouldn't be cutting that into your wood there, but so take them down just a little bit. Now the next place we need some screws is to hold these legs in here. So come back in here about here. And put it at about the same angle as the leg. And right there. You remember that piece of aluminum that we put on the top? These are going to go right through that aluminum, and that's going to be one nice tight corner on there. Let me get the other screws in there. I'm going to put two here, We got 4 more over there, and we got a horse. And let's do the same thing on those 2 there. Still added on the horses. They just didn't feel right when I was done with them. Well, I thought I was done with them. So I went and I put some 2-inch holes in the faces here. A couple of reasons. You can hang something in there, and do a lot of with electrical wiring. I can put a rod between there and put either a coil of wire or put some holes in there. The best way I found to put these holes in here is a hole saw. Got the Milwaukee hole saw here, hole hog, and just got a mark in there, and just that quick, you got a hole in there. And once that's in there, take the router, fire that up, and go around the hole. I'll finish routering all the holes on there, and I'm going to call these things done. They're going to get thrown in the back of the trailer. You saw in previous videos me loading up the trailer, heading to Tennessee with these. 2 of them will probably stay there. 2 of them will come back, and they'll be family heirlooms. That's what we're going to call them. So, thanks for sticking around. We'll figure out what else we got to do around here. Talk to you later. Thank you for watching Alan's Day. Life is about making choices. Some things are already perfect. Some things you may choose to upgrade. This channel will show you both. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks again.